What's up, guys, and welcome to Combat Corner. My name is Kobe.
I'm Jackson.
Today we have a whole bunch to talk about. UFC 295, the main event, the co-main event being absolutely massive fights with a lot on the line.
There's a lot on the line.
A lot on the line there.
A lot on the line.
A lot on the line. Big pay-per-view announcements for 2024. We're going to be discussing UFC 300 and a few other little bits and bobs in there as well. So stay tuned. We'll be with you shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Combat Corner.
Drink of the day this
Here we
week
go.
is Bliss Lager, a garage project from Wellington, New Zealand.
Here we go.
4.8%, 4.5%, sorry.
4.5, yeah.
1.2 standard drinks.
First sip, I'm pretty impressed. Long way to go, but we'll see what happens there.
It's a lager. I like the can. Very
It's
nice.
a bit lagery, eh? Yeah.
Nice, simple design.
Simple design for two simple men.
Very simple.
We'll see how that goes down, that drop. We'll see how that transpires through the episode.
It will.
How it goes down.
It will.
It will.
It will
It's
go
going to be
down.
gone.
Yeah. Anyway, got a big pay-per-view event tomorrow.
We do.
UFC 295.
Getting right into it, eh? 295. What are your thoughts? Main
Yuri
event.
Prohaska versus Alex Pereira. Not complaining with my pronunciation there.
Say it again.
Alex Pereira.
What was the first one?
Pereira. Jiri Prohaska.
I don't know how to actually say it, so I'm just going to let it go. I think we're probably both wrong. I'm going to say Yuri Prohaska.
Okay. You can say it however you like. I've said it, and I think it's a great fight.
It is. And two great names.
Two
Just
great names.
Actual, their names are cool.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
They have.
This could be the
cool
baddest
names.
name fight ever. I can't think of any other fights with two people with that cool of names. You know?
Yeah.
Jan Blachowicz, that's a pretty cool name.
That is a cool name.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk and what's her name? The strawweight champ. I can't remember her name. Wei Li.
Oh,
Wei Li.
yeah.
That's a pretty cool one. Yeah.
Well, either way,
Yeah.
their names aside, they're both incredibly good fighters.
They are.
One hailing from a Muay Thai background and the other from kickboxing. So
Yep.
it's bound to be a hell of a stand-up affair.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, I fancy Alex Pereira here.
You do?
I think he's got quite a good shot in terms of the striking that we've seen from him recently and what he can do to someone who walks forward with their hands down, which
Strickland.
it's Strickland, and it is a little bit.
But they're
of
buddies
Strickland.
now, so it's okay.
They're friends now, so they've made up for that. But Prohaska does spend a lot of time waltzing around with his hands.
He does. There's videos of him going, using his head as a target for the other person's hand. Just I don't know why he does that. It's probably because he is insane in the best way possible. But that's not a good thing when you're versing someone like Alex Pereira, who's got dynamite in that left hand. You know?
Yeah, 100%. He will
For sure.
clip you, but it's just a matter of now finding out. He did look pretty good against Jan Blachowicz.
He did.
But
he did.
Does he carry the same power at light heavyweight that he did at middleweight? That's going to be the big question that I think will be answered here, because I think there's a decent chance that he clips him.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah, I can just see either of these guys can win and I'll be happy, and either of them can lose and I'll be unhappy. I love both of these guys. They're awesome fighters, great people. But objectively, their styles, it seems like the style doesn't match up well for Yuri. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yuri isn't one to wrestle. Maybe he did before the UFC, but Yuri isn't one to wrestle heavily like Jan tried to do against Blachowicz, against Pereira, which kind of worked.
Yeah,
but then he kind of gassed out and he struggled.
it worked in the fact that he didn't get knocked out.
Yeah.
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 But he lost that fight.
He did. He did. But I don't see Blachowicz trying to wrestle him, really.
No.
Maybe he can mix it in a little bit. But,
Prohaska trying to wrestle him.
yeah, sorry. Prohaska.
No, you're right, mate.
Prohaska. Prohaska.
Yuri.
So yeah, it's a really interesting fight. I think it is going to be interesting to see if someone shoots. and goes for a takedown. It's going to be interesting to see who lands the most significant punch first. I think that's going to be a big telling point in this fight.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other thing too is like what I was saying about, Alex clipping him and that being quite a decent possibility, is we have seen in obviously the most recent Izzy fight, but also the first one as well, is once he kind of goes in and starts, like he thinks he's got you hurt and he starts throwing a combination, he can be quite vulnerable to a couple of counter strikes too.
For sure.
And that is something that Yuri is quite well versed in.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that is definitely a big danger for him. Whether Yuri is smart enough and has the technical defensive striking ability that Adesanya has to be able to do that kind of thing in the fight IQ. Because that was a really smart move from Izzy to play rope-a-dope on the fence and, bait him in, let him throw a couple, and then counter like that.
Yeah.
That was very, very high level. Like, obviously, Yuri is very high level, but he's a lot more unorthodox than Izzy in a way. So
100%. He's a lot more unorthodox than
everyone.
Yeah. I'd pretty confident. There's not many people that walk in there and like just the head movement alone, the way that he uses,
or the lack of.
Well, yeah, lack of head movement sometimes, but you see sometimes he uses he ducks down and like you says, he puts his head out there on like a little bit of dangling it out there. But then he throws something from it, like he uses his head movement and drawing you in to like throw something pretty
to come back with that violent straight.
Yeah.
Like he clipped in his first UFC fight when he knocked that guy out, and like it was literally just bait, clipped him. Now I'm gonna go in.
Yeah,
finished him with that right hand.
I was watching some clips of him set up a head kick from like baiting his head, just duck down, put it right in front of you, and then move back, smack,
dangling that little carrot.
Yeah, exactly. It's very impressive, but will it be something that bothers Alex Pereira? I don't know. He's got, like you say, dynamite in those hands, and he's got some pretty decent speed. Coming up from the weight class below.
Yeah, for sure. Alex Pereira is one of those guys that he is so technical, he is so powerful, he is very fast, and he's very sneaky with the punches and kicks that he throws. Like the leg kicks against Izzy. You just can't see them coming. There was no telegraph. He just whips them around, but they're powerful and they do damage. Like someone with that high level striking, I think Yuri's going to really have problems on his hands, honestly. Like, if he just goes in there to brawl, I really think,
Yeah. And like you say, with the leg kicks, Yuri typically has quite a wide stance.
Yeah, he does.
Which would also leave him quite vulnerable to those too. So, yeah, it's breaking
unless we see
down.
massive changes in his game.
That's true. And there's potential for that with the amount of time that he's had off. And he has talked about that, I think, but everyone who takes some time off and comes back is always saying how much they've evolved in that time.
And he was injured for most of the time, so how much training could he really do?
Yeah.
And
you can't bring your sword into the cage.
You can't. But Alex also can't bring his bow and arrow into the cage. So
that's true.
It's not Skyrim. This is UFC.
Yeah.
This is UFC 5.
Yeah. Good point. UFC. Yeah. A lot of problems with that game by the looks of it.
Yeah, that looks like absolute.
It looks like dog shit. Yeah,
it does. I'm not a big fan, but obviously you play quite a bit of UFC 4.
Yeah, I haven't bothered getting the new one just from seeing all the.
Is it out now?
Yeah, it's been out for like a week or so.
Ah, shit. Yeah. Whenever any content comes up around that game, I always check the comments. The first thing is like, "This looks like absolute garbage. Bring back UFC 2." Like it's like UFC everyone's 2. Just like, "Screw this shit." EA. No one likes EA.
No.
But yeah, I mean, getting back to that fight. It's going to be a very, very interesting, fun fight. I think the first round is going to be a feeling out round. I really think that first round is going to be it's going to be quite uneventful in the way of them looking to knock each other out because they're both so different and technically, the way that they are.
And they've both got each other out. They've both got 5-round experience as well, so they know that you can't just go in there and unload everything in that first round. And you don't want to show everything in that first round either. You want to have some things left in your back pocket in case shit does hit the fan later on. But yeah, I think you're right. The first round will be a bit of feeling out from both parties, I imagine. And then I think the second and third is where we'll really see it come to life. But
think we could see someone land a very big, significant punch early in the second round. Punch, kick, whatever, and someone will get rocked. And I can see a finish in the second or third round. That's what I'm kind of thinking. If it's logic only, and I'm not using my heart, I've got to say, Alex Pereira knockout round 2.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, me personally, I'm not in love with Jerry, so yeah, my heart doesn't really play too much of a factor in it. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Alex Pereira has the skills to get it done, and yeah, I think within three rounds is pretty realistic too.
I mean, but saying that, it could go either way. It's a very, very close fight, and 100%. Yuri has a lot of ways of winning that fight. But like, if you just use pure logic, it just feels like Alex. Like, looking at past fights, if Yuri gets clipped like he did against Glover by the left hand of Alex, it's not going to end well.
No,
it's really not going to end well.
But like we say, like, he's a very unorthodox fighter, Jerry, and he could go in there, and it could just be a clash of styles where Alex can't find the mark, just with his weird movements and whatnot, and the way that he does strangely set up strikes could just be the answer for Alex Pereira's game.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where we can sit here and unload all of this knowledge that we think we've got from these guys' past fights, but until they go in there and scrap it out,
they're just too unique of fighters to know really what's going to happen. And they've both got that crazy mindset that they're ready to die in there. Like, it really could go either way. And we have no idea. It could be a submission by Alex in the first second.
Armbar.
Yeah. Toe hold. Wrist lock.
Dylan Dennis toe hold.
That's what I'm... All right, new prediction. Alex Pereira round 1, minute 1, toe hold. Imanari roll, toe hold. That's not my prediction, everyone. By the way, do not use our advice as gambling advice, because we are not... Well, I'm not very good at picking fights. I'm just going to put that out as a disclaimer.
Do it.
You want to make some money? Bet against what I'm saying.
No, don't do
Bet
that.
the house on Yuri Brush.
Yeah, bet the house.
But I think we both agree here. I think we're pretty much in...
So, Sergey Pavlovich versus Tom Aspinall.
Good fight.
Co-main event.
Co-main.
Another, good fight.
Good fight.
Good fight. Not bad.
Sergey versus Tom. Interim strap on the line. Let's get into it.
Yeah. I think, look, they've both got ridiculously low average fight times. You know what I mean? Like, they both go in there and typically get out of there in the first round most of the time.
We can expect an early finish.
We can, yeah. But will we get one? I mean, we were both expecting that out of Almeida and Lewis, and nothing came of it. They might both get in there and just have that kind of mutual respect where they don't get into things right away just because they know that it could just be lights out after one swing. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out from the get-go.
Yeah, no, that's going to be very interesting. They've got a lot of respect for each other, you can tell, in the presses and all the media. The way they talk about each other is very respectful. They both know that they're the best guys in the division, you know.
Tom Aspinall said he won't go in there and make it a dick measuring contest because he thinks he'll lose.
So
I don't know what kind of inside information he's got about
well, look at
Sergey's package. But
look at him. He's got to be packing heat, like big time. He's 6'4", and he's like built like a
Pavlovich.
Like he looks like, you know, in, that movie, The Incredible Four or whatever. There was that stretchy guy, the guy who can light on fire.
And then the one that was made of rocks.
Yeah, he looks like that.
Yeah, he does.
It's quite insane. He's very intimidating. Do you see that picture of him next to Khabib?
No, I haven't seen a picture of him next to Khabib, but I have seen the way that he's been destroying every heavyweight in the division so far.
Yeah, he has been doing that.
What he did to Taito Ivasa was just sad.
It was, and he did the same to Lewis.
Yeah.
Although Lewis, it was kind of like an early stoppage, I thought. But still.
It was, but at the end of the day, it would have ended the same way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Check this picture out. This is the most ridiculous thing. Khabib is not a small guy. Which is like twice the size of him. Obviously, he's a heavyweight and technically he weighs twice as much.
And this does look like when Khabib was in fighting shape too. Yeah. And like,
yeah, he's ripped as fuck.
Yeah.
He's huge.
That's nuts.
This guy is a monster. Like, for real. But Tom is also really big, obviously, being a heavyweight. Yeah, good looking fellas. It's a shame that they're not going to do that dick measuring thing. I really was excited for that, but we get to see them fight.
We do get to see them fight.
And yeah, like you say, it could end up, well, I really don't think it's gonna this time, but it could end up being one of those ones where they're both so respectful of each other that it does end up at least going a little bit longer than we think.
Yeah, and it's the first time that they've both been in such a position like that. Neither of them have fought for UFC gold before. So this is quite a unique position for both of them.
Yep.
Co-main event, I know that Tom's been the main event of a couple times, but has Sergey? I don't know. Maybe of a fight night.
I think maybe he main evented against Derek Lewis.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
I'm pretty sure. So his last fight was against Derek Blades. Oh yeah, Blades versus Paper. So that was the main. Derek Blades, Curtis Blades. So yeah, they.
Derek Blades would be a cool dangerous guy.
Yeah,
you know, with the knockout power and the wrestling.
That would be a really dangerous guy. They should have a chance.
Derek Blades coming through.
Ooh. Drop the mouse, guys.
Mouse drop.
But yeah,
it was violently loud.
It was. We'll see how that turns up on the audio. I really hope these guys go in there. But what I can see happening potentially is if Sergey's a little bit overconfident, which I don't think he is. I think he's confident, but he's not stupid, and he's not overlooking Tom at all. If he is a little bit overconfident, I can see him trying to rush in there and finish him quick, like he has done with so many other opponents, and he's had so much success with. And Tom slipping back, countering, and also, he's also got that knockout power, countering with like a clean right hand, chinning him, and then getting a finish or a submission.
Yeah,
in the first round.
Yeah,
I could see that happening if they don't try and feel each other out, feel each other up.
Dick measuring contest.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we'll see. It is interesting. Like it's hard to sit here with two guys that, in history have just gone in there and got rid of everyone in record time.
It's hard to know what they will do when they're faced together.
Exactly.
We don't get this very often.
Yeah. I mean, we had the most knockouts in UFC history versus a guy who's been submitting everyone.
Yeah.
He comes up against in last week's matchup, and it went the whole 5 rounds.
And on top of that, the guy who's been submitting everyone managed to get the takedowns, managed to get the top control. Yeah, he couldn't find the takedown. Yeah. So the guys who have been knocking each other out, these guys have never been knocked out either. Sergey was finished on the ground by Alistair Overeem. I don't believe Tom's been knocked out. When I checked his record, I'm pretty sure his losses are submission and decision. But these guys have never been knocked out. So obviously it's heavyweight. It's very hard to take a punch that hard and keep going. But maybe these guys they could be each other's kryptonite, and we could see a 5-round.
I'd still be putting my money on Sergey. That's where my head goes.
He's had more time to prepare.
The way that I think of it is, it's like, who would I be more scared of standing against, standing across the cage?
Tom's got a pretty friendly face.
He's got a really friendly face, but there have been a lot of high level people, like ex UFC stars that have said that he's the next
guy. Yeah,
the next guy, and it's interesting though, because I feel like that doesn't always equate to him being that person that everyone's always talking about being the next guy. It doesn't always work out that way, but I mean, we're going to get the answers tomorrow.
We will. The thing with Tom though is his demeanor. He's so chill, and he's very real with how he talks about things. He's like, like he says, I'm not going to go out there and have a dick measuring contest and try and knock this guy out. I'm going to use all my tools that I've been learning since I was a young kid to win this title. That's what I'm going to do. And honestly, we haven't seen anyone in the heavyweight division, at least for a very long time, I don't think really ever, who's got this kind of style of, he's light on his feet, he's a powerful puncher, he's got great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, he mixes it all up really well, his timing is really good, he's slick, he's really got everything, and he moves like a middleweight. Like, we've never really seen that before, and I think a lot of these guys, when they say this is the next guy to watch, it's because of that, the way he puts everything together, man, he is so good. So good. His fight against Volkov was the one for me. When I watched that, I was like, wow, this guy, he is really, really good, man. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree. That was kind of an eye opener, and that whole spiel that you just gave there is perfect. I mean, he is the epitome of what you want to be as a heavyweight. You know, you want to carry those aspects in terms of power punching. You want to make sure you have that in your chest. You know, but at the same time, someone who does have wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all of these skills is great. But he's going in there against a bulldozer.
Yeah,
like, that's the reality. Yeah, like, a brick wall.
But again, like I can see him countering. I can see him using his slick boxing to counter. Although he does kind of leave his chin out there to be hit, Tom, a little bit. But Sergey, in a lot of his fights, has just ran straight at people and managed to clip them early and finish them.
And he does have a knack of finding your chin.
He does, yeah, for sure.
It's incredible.
He's an incredible fighter. But that's the thing, man. 2 incredible fighters going up against each other, like the other, the main event.
It's a big card.
We're in for some luck.
Yeah.
We're very lucky. Thank you, Daddy Dana, yet again, for putting this on.
We love you, Daddy Dana.
Love you, Dana. I was going to say I love you, Danny. Who the fuck's Danny?
I know.
Yeah, we love you, Dana. Thank you. And then, obviously, yeah, there's been some great cards this year. There really has.
Oh, yeah. And we've still got some more great cards to come.
We do. We've got Leon and Colby obviously coming up.
Yeah.
Stacked as any card that I've ever seen, really. But yeah, super excited for that, man. I think that's going to be an epic fight. I think we'll see a finish in both the main and the co-main.
Yeah,
luckily.
I hope so.
But it's going to be a quality finish, you know. It's not going to be unless some stupid stuff happens, like Johnny Walker's incident the other week. Something like that ruins the card, kind of thing.
Or we could end up, you know, last minute seeing Anthony Smith go in there against either Yuri or Alex.
Anthony, the pity man Smith.
The pity man.
Oh God, yeah. Honestly, or
you know what?
Alex Volkanovski.
You know what? Alex Volkanovski would probably
those guys.
Be a more likely and more capable candidate, but I think what we need to see from now on is just we don't book Anthony Smith. Okay, we just don't book him. He is just that guy who just weighs in sometimes
every now and then
misses weight still.
Misses weight, cries, and then says that he would have beat Alex if Alex wasn't such a good puncher.
That's right.
If Alex wasn't really good at striking, I would beat him.
If Alex wasn't just really good at MMA in general, just like the sport overall.
His breakdown of John Jones, he's like, you know, if you pick apart John Jones and, you know, you take away his wrestling and this and that, you know, he doesn't have anything particularly special, you know.
Yeah.
He's this and that. It's like, well, yeah, he's really good at MMA. That's why he's so good.
Really good at wrestling in particular too.
Great at wrestling, great boxing, man. Like his jiu-jitsu is beautiful, but I don't think he's only a purple belt or a brown belt. Like, what are you saying? This is the best of all time. Have some respect.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You're a journeyman. Look, I'm sure Anthony Smith is a nice guy. But, Anthony, give me a call. All right? Anyway, moving on. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
What do you guys need to discuss?
I don't know. I just want to talk to him. I just want to be like, look, Anthony, man, don't say this stuff. I'll be your PR guy or something. I'm not very good at that, but I'll figure it out. I'll tell you what to say. No, Jackson can do it, actually.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of the one who steers this conversation away from more PR worrying.
We'll move on, eh?
Yeah.
We'll move on. Let's talk about the rest of the card, eh? Let's have a look at this one. See ya, Anton.
See you, mate.
We love you.
Don't miss weight. It's the backup fighter.
Did he actually do that in the past?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Let's have a look at the rest of the card, eh? Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie, Brazilian-American Dern.
For American. Yeah.
Her in a weird Brazilian accent that she developed and then lost.
Yeah, it's incredible skills in terms of language.
It is.
Well, yeah, I mean, another exciting fight. Mackenzie Dern's been causing some waves down there in the women's strawweight division.
Yeah, she's working her way to a title, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's obvious.
She's looking good.
Yeah, and I think this is a good looking matchup for her in terms of the caliber of opponent she's up against. It does look like someone that she it's hard to follow the women's division because there are so many people that come up and then just drop off and you never hear of them again.
It's always changing. It's an ever-changing landscape. especially now with without Amanda Nunes.
Yeah,
obviously
the
she's
Lioness.
retired, and then Shevchenko's lost her belt. The only real stability we've got in the women's divisions is Jane. Now,
Yep.
It's always changing. You're right. It can be tough to follow.
But Mackenzie Dern is someone that I've been hearing a lot of good things about lately.
Yeah, she's a bit of a character as well.
Yeah, definitely, and that helps, as we've seen with all the other big players in terms of the men's division.
Yeah,
they're all characters.
We love
the big
characters.
names.
Yeah.
We love characters.
We love characters. And we're not talking about the alphabet. Mackenzie Dern, jiu-jitsu specialist. She's a very high-level jiu-jitsu player. Jessica Andrade, I think she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well, but more known for her powerful striking on the feet and just her power overall. Her ability to, like when she beat Rose, just lifting her up and literally just absolutely slamming her head into the mat and knocking her out. Like, that's very impressive. It's going to be an interesting one to see if Mackenzie Dern, obviously we know her plan is to take down Jessica Andrade and submit her. Be interesting to see if Mackenzie Dern can get through her hands first, avoid getting hit with a heavy shot and take Andrade down. But it's like, bit of a gatekeeping fight, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We see Dern win this fight. There's a pretty decent potential that she fights for the belt next.
Yeah, I think that's likely. And like you say, with the women's divisions moving around so much, and those rankings being so dynamic and like always changing, to be someone like Dern and keep your name relevant for a decent amount of time, it does really help in terms of getting the fans interested.
She does. She seems to have a pretty big fan base.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right. Title shot does make sense for
after this
the next fight. Sure. Yeah,
because they're fighting at strawweight. And is there anyone booked for the strawweight title at the moment?
Good question.
No. What happened with the strawweights? Yeah, I don't know. Don't think there's a title booked. So there you go. That's your next one. Whatever's happening.
Good shit.
Yeah, we know what's going on. We're good.
Should we go over some of these pay-per-view announcements that have come out this week?
Would you want to just quickly? I just wanted to point out Met for Rivola versus Saint Denis. That should be a really good fight. And Diego Lopez, we all love him.
Yeah. That's a bit of a sleeper fight there.
That is for sure. Diego Lopez's jiu-jitsu again, absolutely insane. His last fight.
It was very impressive. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how he goes. Main event.
Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini. I've never actually really heard of this guy too much before. Have you?
No.
Let's see what he's about. He's 33 years of age. He won against Lucas Almeida in his last fight, 2022. Looks like he lost and he won. So he's been in the UFC for a while now. This will be a good test for
definitely
someone like Diego Lopez, I think.
Yep. Well, it's still one of his. What is it?
This is his third fight.
Yeah, third fight. So yeah, like you say, a good test. It'll be interesting to see how he stacks up against someone like you say that has been doing this for a wee while.
Yeah.
And he's coming in on a full camp this time, opposed to, I think, was it last fight or
his first fight was he was a backup replacement, right. And he did really well.
Yeah. So this will be like you say, a good test.
Yeah. I can see him steamrolling the guy. If I'm completely honest, he just looks really good.
There's the potential for a lot of quick early finishes in this card.
Yeah.
But when that is the case, when you're looking at it like that, it's not always the way that it happens.
Exactly
but
right.
Hoping so.
I'm hoping to. And just before we move on, final predictions for the card, top to bottom. Who are you thinking? I'll pull it back up so we can go over the fights from top to bottom. Starting at the top, who do you think?
Pereira.
Pavlovich.
Dern. I don't know these guys too well, to be honest.
Rivola's good. He finished. Names are really slipping my mind at the moment. I don't know why this is.
No, you're all right.
He finished Drew Dober in his last fight by KO. So pretty impressive. Seems like a really good guy.
Yep. Well, just off that, just because he's a really good guy, I'll go for Rivola there.
Rivola. Saint Denis is 12-1 though. Yeah,
but you haven't sold him as a good guy.
He beat Thiago Moises. That's an impressive win.
So these guys both coming off an impressive win.
Coming off.
That has the potential for to be a bit of a banger.
They could be fight of the night.
Yeah.
Lower weight.
Yep. No, I like that. That's a good matchup.
That is a sleeper fight as well.
Just because I don't know much about them, I'll just who are you backing?
Probably Matt. I'll say Matt just because I know more about him. And
All right.
Yeah.
I'll go Saint Denis.
Okay.
Yep. I'll go the other side.
Bet you $1.
$1 it is.
$1.
We'll make sure to honor that bet on the next
We
episode.
shall. Final fight of the night. What do you think?
Lopez.
Yeah. Same.
Like we said, I reckon Lopez gets it done.
For sure. I'll quickly reel off my picks. I'm going with Alex Pereira, Tom Aspinall, Mackenzie Dern, Matt Frivola, Diego Lopez.
Nice.
And I think there will be 3 finishes on the main card. I think that the top 2 and then Diego Lopez's fight, they will all be finishes. And I think the other 2 will probably be decisions.
Yeah. Okay. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Great card that we just discussed. Bunch of good cards just been announced by Mr. Daddy Dana.
Big time. My boy, Sean Strickland has been booked.
America!
I love to see it. I hate to see that he's fighting in Canada though. And he's obviously very upset about that.
He did discuss that.
Yeah. The enemy of freedom.
You see what he posted about I don't like Canada, blah blah blah, but I just have to help some women do their job.
Yeah.
Because they needed a main event for that card for that thing. Because there's gonna be the bantamweight on the line. Funny guy.
He's a hell of an entertainer.
Hell of a figure. Sean, if you want to come on the podcast and be our first guest,
yeah, we'd love to have you.
Message me. I'll probably see it.
Stop mucking around with Nina.
Yeah, mate.
Right, we know what's going on there.
We know what's going on, mate.
Everyone sees straight through it.
We do. Well, I mean, he's got that girlfriend, and I'm pretty sure she's got that boyfriend. So, you know what? Let's not touch that. I'm not going to touch that with a 50-foot barge pole. Let them do what they want.
But he should be on here.
He should. Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
the problem. If he wasn't on Nina's show all the time, he would be on here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what else is he going to do?
Yeah, there's not many other avenues for people to,
No, not for people like
it's
him.
just kind of us.
Yeah.
Well, this is a very unique space, obviously, what we're doing here.
And Sean O'Malley, you can come on as well.
All the Seans.
Anyone called Sean. Just anyone called Sean. So anyway, how do you think that he's going to perform against Dricus du Plessis?
I'm hoping very well.
Why?
Are
you a fan of him or something?
One of my mates is a big fan. Yeah, I'll say that.
Are you wearing his t-shirt?
Yeah, I spilt something on my t-shirt on the way here. It was a bit of Bliss Lager, actually. But no, I think he has the potential to get it done there. But like we've seen, like he obviously stepped up a lot in that last fight against Izzy.
Big time.
We hadn't seen a complete performance from him like that, like in his career, like at all. So yeah, it will be interesting. And Dricus has shown that he's a very capable fighter. Yeah, and the way that he dealt with Rob Whittaker was like mind-boggling. No one saw that coming. No one saw that coming. It was very impressive, and yeah, he just manhandled him.
He did. He made Rob look not that good, which is no one's done that before. Even Izzy, maybe in his first fight, but even the second fight with Izzy, Rob looked like he could have won that fight. He didn't look like he had any chance against du Plessis, which is it's very impressive.
But we've spoken about this fight before, and I'm glad that it has come to be, because he is the rightful guy to be next in line for the belt. Especially with Izzy stepping back for a little bit. So yeah, I think it will be a very interesting fight. We've seen, again, I hate to say it in previous times, that if you can find Strickland's chin, that it can be exploited. It can be exploited.
And he's got power, obviously.
du
Plessis
got a lot of power. Got power, and yeah.
I'm not really fancying Strickland in this fight, man. I would love for him to win, and I want him to win.
I'm speaking straight up, from my heart now. Yeah.
It just doesn't sit well with me.
No.
I just don't see this being a good night for Strickland. I can see it being quite similar to the Alex fight.
I got faith.
To be honest. Yeah, I really hope so too. I think Strickland can definitely win if he sticks to the same kind of style of fighting as he did last time.
And the other advantage in my mind that he has is he doesn't give a shit about the belt. Like whether he goes in there and loses it or not, like that's not the motivation for him. He just wants to go in there,
make a bit of cash,
perform. and perform.
And you got to think, his coach, Eric Nixick, the guy we talked about, Garney's coach. He is one of the best coaches there are at the moment. He's definitely contender not even contender. He's got to be coach of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
He has to be.
Responsible for the greatest MMA upset we've seen in the middleweight division possibly ever.
Yeah, quite possibly the greatest upset in MMA history ever. Like quite possibly, right?
And
that was insane.
Almost causing, well, not causing, but like playing a large part in the Ngannou Tyson Fury match, which we've also broken down. So
he's having someone like that behind you. Anything can happen, right? He can be anyone in the world on his day. With a coach like that in his corner, and obviously he's got the skills and he trains like crazy. Dricus is just really good though.
So he is really good.
Great matchup, really is.
And I think what we know now as well is Sean Strickland's style really does work well with these big events. Being under the spotlight, and because I think with that fight in Australia, he played into the whole the fans.
Yeah, he did. He did.
The build up to that fight was a really exciting week because he made it an exciting week. He went out to Australia and he kind of documented his experience a little bit, and it was quite funny.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he does. He has really shown that he thrives under the lights, and that's a real advantage in terms of being a champ who doesn't care about the belt, who thrives under the lights. Those are two elements you don't really see all that often. You might have one of them. But not often both of them. And it's a massive advantage going in there on these, these fights where there's a lot on the line.
Yeah, for sure. He's got the mindset, man. He really does. And now he's got the experience in a 5-round massive main event. Yeah. Which Dricus doesn't have.
No.
He's been he was the co-main or the third when he fought Rick. When he fought Rob.
And who was it before that he fought? Was it Darren Till?
Darren Till, yeah.
We saw him gas quite a lot in that fight, didn't we? In the third round. So
he did.
If Strickland can get into that fourth or fifth round, even the third round, you know, it could be. There might be a time for a tipping point where it becomes more about the volume that Strickland can lay into him. And if he can just stay, on the outside and use that front teep that we saw a lot on the Izzy fight, that worked perfectly just to keep distance. And that's all you really need to do against someone like Dricus. But
because Dricus he's quite unorthodox. Obviously very powerful, very strong. But if we see, Sean could go in there and really negate the unorthodox style of him. And I think we could definitely. It could go either way. Honestly, it could. Slightly favoring Dricus at this point. But it could definitely go either way for sure. For sure. Another big announcement. The next one after that was Volk Topuria. February this is. So
we've seen this coming.
Yeah, we knew this was going to happen. For sure.
The middleweight, fight was a little bit interesting because there was a couple of options on the table. But in terms of the featherweight belt, we knew this was coming.
We did,
and it's good to see it. It's good to see it's booked. Because that obviously means that Volk is going to be a bit happier, and we like when Volk's happy.
We do. He's an absolute legend. Because
we don't like to see him, breaking down in a post-fight press conference.
We don't like to see him breaking down. It's actually really sad. That actually made me almost cry. Just watching that. It'll be good for him to have a fight. But what do you think of the turnaround? It's obviously relatively quick.
It's what he does.
Yeah,
it's what he does, and the way that we saw him bounce back from the last Makhachev loss was incredible.
He didn't take as much of a beating though. He got TKO'd pretty bad. In that fight.
100. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I think it could even just light more of a fire underneath him.
No, for sure. I pick Volk to win for sure. I 100% pick Volk to win. I pick him to finish him as well. I think Topuria is relatively deluded in his opinions on Volk, and when he's talked about Volk in the past.
I agree.
I think he's a great fighter, but maybe he's a little bit overconfident. And Volk,
I think that's what you need to carry in there against someone like Volk, who's done what they've done.
Good.
he has just dominated at the top of that featherweight division for so long now. Like the last fight we saw against Max Holloway, just for example, I know that's not his last fight, but the last fight against Max Holloway, how he just went in there, picked him apart for 5 rounds, and just kind of showed the world that
no one's beating me.
No one's beating me at the moment. And Topuria not having fought Max, I know he's fought a lot of top quality opponents in the past anyway, but not having fought Max, not really kind of putting yourself in there against that guy that we have seen a lot of people have to go up against Max before they get there. Talked about in terms of the belt conversation. So yeah, I think you're right. He's a bit deluded. But at the same time, if I was in his position, I would be trying to convince myself of all this stuff as well.
Sure. He's a dangerous guy, man. He's got insane combos. His boxing is beautiful. He's obviously got really good jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He's a high-level black belt. He destroyed Bryce Mitchell, who's known for his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he's got all the skills there.
Yeah, very well-rounded, but I just think Volk is more well-rounded and better at each individual thing as well. Like, Volk is just that guy, at featherweight 100%. For sure.
And he's got the championship experience, obviously, with how long he's been around there at the top. But yeah, it's an exciting fight because there's going to be a nice little build up to this, I feel like.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't think anyone in the last few fights has really probably brought out, the more verbal and mental side of a fight build up opposed to like on the other side of the cage to Volk, like he probably will, like Topuria will. Holloway and Rodriguez and all these guys that Volk's fought recently have obviously been very respectful, whereas he's coming from more of an angle of like, I'm going to come and take this belt kind of thing.
He's very confident.
Yeah, so
that kind of like Conor McGregor approach of like, I've already won the belt. I'm the champ.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting to find out whether that is delusion or whether it was calculated confidence.
Yeah.
To
if it's calculated confidence, good on him if he can go in there and get it done. But I just see him getting picked apart.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. I also really hope that we see Volk pushed. Like, I want to see him challenged again, like kind of like the Ortega fight. It'd be cool to see him in a bit of danger and overcome a bit of adversity against a top level opponent. Because obviously he's just had so much ease disposing of people at featherweight for so long now. Yeah. Having someone come in there, put him in a bit of trouble, survive it, and then show why he is the man again. It would be interesting to see. And I really think Topuria can do that. I just don't see him winning.
Yeah.
I just really can't see him winning. But, he's a top challenger for sure.
Definitely.
Obviously, no other announcements for the cards yet. It's just the main events. But one more big announcement. Sugar Sean versus Cheeto Vera. Very excited about that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fight for the fans.
For sure, yeah.
It's not a fight to see who's the top bantamweight.
No.
To be quite honest.
No, definitely not.
Because
it should be Merab or it should be Corey.
Yeah.
Obviously, Corey's injured. Merab's a little baby well, no, he's not. He's he's a warrior. But the way that he wouldn't fight Sterling, Dana didn't like that. I actually agree with that. I wouldn't want to fight my best mate, my training partner for the belt.
Yeah.
Literally like my day one, trying to take what's his. Just don't see how that's, he's showing loyalty to his friend, which is more important than money and fame.
Yeah, no, I agree. But then at the same time, you can't expect to be given the next shot, right after your mate's picked from the post.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you're unwilling to fight him, and there's other storylines that make more sense. And unfortunately, this Cheeto versus
it's the perfect,
the undefeated Sean O'Malley is the answer.
He's the only guy who defeated Sean. As soon as Sean won that belt, Cheeto must have been sat there like, I'm getting this title shot for sure. If he didn't win the belt, there's no way. There's no way Cheeto's fighting Aljamain Sterling. No, for sure. There's no way at all.
Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like we were looking through the bantamweight division just before, and like Corey Sandhagen would be the obvious pick. Under Merab, but like we just discussed, he's kind of
he's refusing. He wouldn't fight Sterling.
Yeah, so he, in my eyes, can wait for a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Corey Sandhagen getting it done in a very boring main event against Rob Font, and then previously before that beating Cheeto Vera, who is now fighting for the title.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he also finished Song Yudong, and like he's on this crazy winning streak. His last loss was Piotr Jan, that was very close. And then TJ Dillashaw, which I do not think he actually lost that fight.
yeah, it's pretty hard to say.
He's the top guy, you know. And him against O'Malley would be an absolute banger of a fight.
That would be a great fight. Very high level striking fight, and
I'd love to see that fight, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely
and they're
love it.
both guys that want to go in there, and you know, like Sean especially is someone who goes in there and he's active with his striking. He's not hanging back and waiting, which is like what we've seen unfortunately in some of Corey's fights. Is when he is in there against someone who's a little bit more timid with their striking and works better in the countering, it can be a bit of a boring fight. But Sean obviously, is a
Sean's looking to knock you out, and Corey's looking to counter you with volume as well and very unorthodox striking. Yeah, that would be an insane fight, and I really hope that we see that soon, before Merab even. I mean, Merab does kind of deserve it.
Yeah, he does.
Put Merab against Corey. Let's do that.
Yeah,
put it on the same card.
That could be in the works.
5-round co-main event on that same card. Corey versus Merab. Whoever wins fights the winner for the belt. Surely. It's got to be that, right?
I don't even think it needs to be 5 rounds, but I agree.
I think
that fight
guys,
should happen in terms of.
I'd like to see it 5-round for the sole reason of if it's 3 rounds, you might see just 3 rounds of control like we did in when Aldo fought Merab. But if it's 5 rounds, I think Corey will have more opportunities and he will be. I just think it'll be better. I think that fight, for some reason, deserves 5 rounds.
Okay.
I don't know why.
They could even headline a fight night.
That would be good. That'd be a bit.
That would make a lot of sense too, especially if you want this 5-round fight. Dana, if you're listening, just take some notes.
Honestly, listen to us, man. We know what we're talking about. We've been doing this for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, super exciting, man. Coming into 2024, obviously it's going to be a big year of UFC and MMA in general.
It's just growing every year, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just blowing out of the water. And they don't have like one big star anymore, like the McGregor who carried them for so long. They've just got stars littered all over the show.
Well,
it's the sport itself.
It's down to their marketing. Yeah. Like
it's brilliant. Yeah, genius marketing, man. They're always there with a fight to announce. It's like they've always got something in their back pocket to throw at you just to be like, get you excited. And then, they're geniuses. They're the best sports company at marketing and got to be in the world.
Well, it's because they market themselves first over their fighters. Any other combat sports event in the world, just Tyson versus Ngannou, for instance, that's what that was sold as. It was sold as Tyson versus Ngannou. Right. What we're watching tomorrow is UFC 295.
There's a bunch of fights on there.
And there's a bunch of fights on there, but at the same time, it's not. It is Yuri Prohaska versus Alex Pereira. That's the main event, sure, but it's UFC 295. That's what it's sold as. Yeah. And that's what all of these events are sold as.
And in comparison to like boxing, there's just a main event. There's sometimes an okay-ish co-main, but you're never really there for the co-main, right?
Oh, but what I'm saying is like, say if it's hosted by Showtime, you don't hear about that. It's Tyson versus Ngannou, and then somewhere in the bottom,
you see it's Showtime. Yeah. Or just you can tell by the absolutely garbage production quality.
Yeah.
You're like, that's Showtime.
I mean, that's another giveaway.
That's how they market their own brand.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is. It's the UFC before it's the fighters, which can be good and bad, but it's a genius marketing strategy for sure. I did want to bring something up. Obviously, these three cards have been announced. Going into the new year, it's 295, 296, obviously to finish out the year. 297 will be Strickland. 298 will be Volk. 299 will be Sean O'Malley. UFC 300, right around the corner, still yet to be announced. With those three, or realistically, we can't have Yuri and Alex and all the heavyweight title on the line.
No, because Jones won't have turned around by then.
We can't have the welterweight strap being defended, realistically, because they're fighting soon. It won't be middleweight. It won't be featherweight. It won't be bantamweight. Some big stars in those divisions. I think Conor McGregor's coming back. UFC 300 headliner versus Michael Chandler.
Yeah, I mean it would make sense, especially with the departure of USADA. But no, it
and he's back in the pool too.
Hey,
he is back in the pool.
He is back in the pool. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. He's It does make sense. It does look like the stars are aligning, and literally.
Yeah.
And this could finally be taking place.
Yeah.
It has dragged on for way too long now. But yeah, I think that would be the perfect the perfect setting for it to happen.
Yeah, the biggest one. That could be the biggest pay-per-view of all time in the UFC. UFC 300, the card will be packed, full of stars.
Yeah.
There'll be a title fight on the line somewhere within that. Obviously, Conor McGregor will headline because it's Conor McGregor, right? There'll be a title fight or two in there.
I'd say there'll be two. Yeah.
There's got to be. There'll be big fight after big fight after big fight after big fight. Maybe we'll see the likes of like Michael Venom Page, who's looking to be signed. Dylan Dennis coming in. You never know, right? You never know. Paddy Pimblett might. The stars will be out. The stars will be out. All the big names will be on that card.
Yeah.
Because they'll be looking to sell numbers. And Conor McGregor will be number one.
Yeah.
I'm honestly,
you're guaranteeing
it's going to happen.
Okay. That's a big promise. Especially for how long we've been mucked around now.
Yeah.
I mean, Islam Makhachev being the pound for pound number one fighter
That's
now.
another option.
Is obviously another option, but he doesn't sell the same amount of numbers. I can see him possibly co-main eventing. Like, it sounds
honestly,
weird.
It does, but
because
it's Conor
he's
McGregor.
Yeah, but you can't argue with the fact.
One thing as well, actually, just to point out, is Conor McGregor, if he's headlining a card, they will it's very unlikely that they will put another champion on the card as well, because how pay-per-view points work, obviously only a select few people get pay-per-view points, champions included. They don't want to be giving pay-per-view points to a champion on a card that Conor McGregor's on.
Well, then it wouldn't make sense to book him for 300, would it?
Well, if they're going to put a title fight anywhere under, probably not.
But
you
it's
can't have
right? You can't have no title fights on UFC 300.
Yeah.
If you look in the past at the
just
at
lines
100,
up so perfectly.
It does line up perfectly, but if what you're saying is going to be the main the main turning point for the UFC on the way that they make that decision, then that for one is sad, but for two, probably quite accurate. Yeah. And yeah, three, if that's the case, then Conor can't headline. Sorry, but you need to have at least two title fights, in my opinion, on this card.
You kind of do. But Conor McGregor trumps everything, realistically. Maybe not for a fan like us that watches it regularly and we're big fans of certain guys, and we know. But for the casual fan, who cares about title fights? They want to see Conor McGregor fight. It's Conor, That's just how people work.
Yeah, I agree, but these only come around every, 6, 7, 8 years? When was UFC 200?
It was 2015.
There you go, 8 years ago.
Conor McGregor.
I know.
It's got to happen, I think. I think it's got to happen, man. We'll see. It's obviously it's going to be announced soon.
And we could be wrong. Conor could get booked and there could be two title fights, one title fight. Who knows? There could be a massive card of pay-per-view point earning stars as well. So
we'll see what happens.
But the stars
are aligning.
Seem to be aligning. Yeah.
And what about Nate Diaz? He's refusing to fight Jake Paul in the PFL. Maybe he slips onto that card. Maybe he fights Dustin Poirier on that card. Co-main. Conor McGregor main. Dustin Poirier versus Nate Diaz co-main.
At welterweight? I don't see Diaz getting...
He's not going to get back to lightweight.
No.
Probably not, no. But Poirier has discussed going to welterweight.
And is McGregor going to make lightweight?
It's going to be tough. Probably not.
No.
But Conor McGregor versus Islam Makhachev?
All right.
Oh, we'll see. Let's move on. That's gonna be. I can't wait for them to announce that. Just like GTA 6, this is one of the things that I'm really waiting for.
Wow.
They did announce that.
Putting it on a pedestal. I see.
Really, yeah. UFC 300, man. It's a big day.
It is a big day
in the history of the world. One more thing, Chael and Masvidal, they kind of went off. Chael's been really getting into it with people recently.
Yeah, I'd like to know what that's about. It seems like he's building up to something. There's no way that he starts a fight with the biggest MMA reporter in the business and
that debate
in the BMF.
Well, what happened here was Masvidal went on Ariel's show and said that he'd watched that go down on his show the other day. And he called Chael a bitch, and he was like, "Oh, that guy's a piece of shit. He's a scumbag. Oh, he's this and that. Oh, I'll beat him up. All this kind of crap."
Just Masvidal chat.
Yeah, just Masvidal stuff. And then Chael saw that. He explained it on his YouTube channel. There's never been any bad blood. He considers him a friend. Chael, you can never quite believe exactly.
No, you can't.
What's going on?
It's an agenda, man.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's too smart for anything. But that's what he said. He said, we're friends. We've never had beef before. Why is this guy calling me all these names? Why is he coming at me all of a sudden? And then he roasted the ever-living shit out of him over the space of about 12 tweets.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. But that's pretty much what Chael did to Ariel.
Yeah.
Like, he just intimidated him. And I think Jorge just kind of came in and kind of was trying to play the big brother, forgetting that Chael has the biggest mouth in MMA, full stop.
And you don't go up against Chael.
No, you don't.
He's a genius when it comes to talking.
Yeah.
And he will also beat the living crap out of you if you do anything to him in person. Because that's another thing that Masvidal said. It's like, oh, you better keep the same energy when you see me in person. What do you think he's going to do? You've seen him on The Ultimate Fighter try and fight Vanderlei. He beat up 5 guys for talking bad about his wife.
Yeah.
He's fought John Jones, Fedor, Vanderlei Silva.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad man from the streets of West Lynn, Oregon.
Yeah, but talking about someone who also takes it to the streets, you've got Masvidal.
Yeah, maybe we'll see
on
Masvidal
the other side of this, who has just been released from this whole court procedure.
Stuff, yeah.
So I mean, he's obviously looking to get himself into another one of those.
Yeah, exactly. He'll come up from behind Chael and maybe hit him in the back of the head or something, and then run off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chael, no dinners with the Nelk boys in the next couple of weeks.
They will sell you out.
They will sell you out, and you'll be leaving the restaurant, and you'll be clipped around the back of the head.
Watch out,
by a sneaky little Jorge.
Try if it happens, just call us. We'll be your bodyguard.
And lawyers.
And lawyers. We do everything. We really do everything in the combat corner. I think that wraps up our show, man.
Yeah.
A lot of talking, a lot of stuff.
There's been a lot of talking. Sorry if you know, but you've got to expect it by now. That's kind of what we do.
That's kind of what we do on this show.
It is a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Let's not apologize for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. One thing I wanted to announce, we've got a few ideas in the pipeline. Any ideas that anyone would like to see from us, please recommend it. We try and get it done. Any recommendations for the podcast in general,
If they're stupid, though, we will just ignore them.
Yeah, actually,
don't hit us with stupid ideas.
We'll block you if you do that. So don't. We forgetting something? My favorite part of the show, honestly.
Almost really forgetting something.
So, Bliss Lager.
It hasn't been bad. It hasn't blown me away.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. In all honesty, I don't actually put this above Orion.
No, neither do I.
I think that this was good. Not great, but it was just your average beer. Tasted a lot like most lagers.
Yeah,
nothing special.
It's a pretty standard lager. And yeah, I'm not putting it above Orion, mainly because the percentage content in Orion was higher.
Yeah.
They're both not amazing taste, but one's going to do a little bit more damage if you're that way inclined.
And we all are alcoholics, deep down.
Everyone's an alcoholic.
Everyone is.
It's just like, there's 2 types of people in the world, There's alcoholics and there's liars.
Yeah.
Everyone
who has touched alcohol is at least somewhat an alcoholic, I believe.
Yeah.
You
just want it.
So anyway, we will. Do you want to do the business, Jackson? Do the honors. Lap her up there. I'm gonna rate this out of 10. I think I'm gonna go. I was gonna say 5, but I think it's probably maybe a bit higher than that. If I'm gonna say 6 is average, I'll have to say that this is 5.5, a little bit below average. I wouldn't actually go out of my way to drink this.
Yeah, I mean, we have been sitting here talking for a while, so it has got a little bit warm, and in that time, it's really deteriorated the overall experience.
The first sip was pretty good
of the lager. Yeah, I agree. First sip was bang on,
but it's just not. Yeah,
5 points. It's a 5.63.
5.63. So that's coming in at around 5.56 ish. That is. So Orion was something like 7 or something, and Hastings Infused I think was 8.2.
It was lovely.
That was beautiful. I missed that. That was a good day.
It was a great day.
Bliss, I'm sure you're nice people, but we just don't quite rate you as much as the others. No offense.
Hey, it says it's a garage project. Maybe just
get better.
Just keep progressing.
Move into a stadium.
Anyway, like you were saying before, I think we've spoken enough.
I think we have. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please remember to like this video, comment, subscribe, and check out our other content. If you're watching on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, check us out on Spotify.
Yeah.
Check out our shorts.
We appreciate all the feedback we have been getting from some people, but yeah, we always encourage more. But
exactly. Shout out to Jack Phillips as well.
Yeah. What a good man. We know he's made it this far.
We do. All right, guys. Leave it there.
Peace.